Hello, my name is Oliver Glanz and I'm a professor of Old Testament at Andrews University. In this tutorial I would like to show you how to perform syntax searches in Accordance Bible software. Let me first say that syntax search in Accordance Bible software is a rather limited experience. Limited in several senses. First, the Greek database is not yet complete, thus the syntactic analysis of the Greek database is not yet complete, so you cannot search the entire New Testament at this moment. Second, the database architecture that is used for both the Hebrew as well as the Greek, specifically the Hebrew I'm speaking now about, is not necessarily delivering the categories that normal users are expecting from. So like searching for objects or other type of simple constructions are not possible. For these types of purposes you would have to go to other tools like the Shebunk Ancient Data that is available on the web. However, there is something good to announce, and that is that within a short time the ETCPC database, Ebtasser Center of Bible Computing, Hebrew database, a well-known, world-renowned database, will be available in Accordance, and then fancy, complex syntactical searches should be possible. Alright, good. Let's start with a syntax search here in the New Testament, doing one in the New Testament and one in the Old Testament. If you go here to Matthew chapter 20 and there verse 1, this is the mother of the Meter Ton Huyom Zebedayu, the mother of the Zebedee's sons who are with her, and she is kneeling down, proskineo kai autusa, and she's asking something from him, that is Jesus. And then verse 21 says, But he said to her, what do you want? So imagine we are interested in this question, what do you want? Is that question asked several times in the Old Testament? And who asks that question? In this case, it's Jesus who asks the lady what she wants. So in order to search for that construction, we have to develop a syntax search. Now, in order to do that, you click on Add Parallel, go to Syntax, then click on Syntax of the Greek New Testament, and you are seeing this nice tree here. Now, this tree is crucial because this tree shows you the structure that is chosen, the syntactical model that is chosen in order to analyze verse 21 or any other verse syntactically. So what you're seeing here is that when you go to verse 21, we have hodi epen aute ti teles. So this is the construction that we're searching for. Now, in order to now build a query that resembles this kind of construction, we are going to File, New Construct, and then it's a Greek construct. So what you're doing when you're building syntax searches is basically first resemble the structure that you find here. So obviously we are finding like here a complex independent clause. That independent clause, however, contains another clause. You see this n, this is an other node, another clause. The t teles is embedded within that clause. So basically we're searching for two clauses, you could say. So let's do this. We have one clause here, any clause, and then we have another clause that is part of that clause. Now, so let's fill now the information that is within that clause, and there we have t and teles. So we could just do it simple and just add those two words because we're interested in the actual words. Tis, who, okay, and then here we add the thelo, right? Thelo. Here we have thelo. All right, good. Now we should be able to find already that construction. So now what you see is this depth. Now this depth is crucial because what you see, especially in the New Testament, is you have constructions that are quite complex. You see here, for example, we see here a noun phrase embedded in a nominal clause, sorry, a clause embedded in another clause, embedded in again another clause. So these levels, these depths, are basically described here by the depth level. So what I would suggest is, in order to really get all what you potentially want, increase the maximum search depth to the maximum number, which is number 9. Alright, good. So now let's run the query. And I would always suggest you to not build the complex query and then run it and then get frustrated because you're not getting the search results, but start with a simple construction that does not completely resemble what you're actually looking for, and make sure that you find the case that you find and then from there continue. One or more columns are skipped. Okay, good. Yeah, so obviously this is not possible because we have had an empty slot here. So let's do this now. Search. Okay, good. Now we are searching for our T teloi. So we should get our Matthew 2021 case. Here it is. Okay, perfect. So this means we are already on the right track. Now let's move this back here, because what we're missing in chapter 20 verse 21 is actually the epon or lege. Now it depends on what dictionary you use. Some categorize it under epon, some under lego. So this is under lego. Okay, good. So let's put a lex here. Lego. Speak. So now we have basically constructed this syntactical, or reproduce this syntactical structure in our query. We have a main clause, this is this one, this node, and then this clause contains a predicate, this is our predicate lego, and that lego, apen, itself governs over an entire clause, namely what you want, or what they want, or whatever. We don't specify now person, number, gender here. Okay, let's run this query. Alright, now here we have our cases. We have in total 14 cases, and here we have but he asked her, what do you want? So now we can check all the other cases and see whether this phrase actually, this question is actually asked several times. So here again, and stopping, Jesus called them and said, what do you, plural now, want me to do for you? Or 26. Here we say in verse 15, it says, and he said, having the context of verse 13, then one of the 12, whose name was Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priest and said, what will you give me if I deliver him over to you? And they paid him 30 paces. So here 15, and said, what will you give me? Well, in fact, the question is, what do you want me? You see, what do you want me to give? Pilatus in 2770. So when they gathered, Pilate said to them, what do you want? Yeah, what do you want me to release for you? So we could now, develop a little research here and find out what type of question is this, who is asking this question. Okay, so this is what syntactical queries can do for you. Okay, let's do the same thing here in Hebrew, and let's create a different scenario. So let's have a new construct for Hebrew. Here we have it. Okay, good. So we see here Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'et haaretz, and God created. So perhaps we're interested in who else is doing the bara performance, the bara, who else is the subject of the bara predicate. Now in order to do that, we again will open our syntax trees in order to kind of learn from the syntax tree how we should construct our query. So what we'll see is that bara is the predicate of the clause, and that Elohim obviously is as the subject of the clause. So we are searching thus for a clause, any clause we allow. We're searching for a clause, and that clause should contain a predicate, and it should contain a subject. Alright, now the predicate we define as bara, so we put a specific lexeme in here, bara. Okay, here we have it, to create, and the subject we leave open because we are interested in any subject that is explicit. So let's search for this. Now, so here we see the subjects highlighted. Elohim is the subject, and God created. Verse 21, and it created God, the sea creatures, and it created God, man in his image, and it created Elohim, God, and thus it were created in that day, the earth and the heavens through the doing of Adonai Elohim, and it created God, and it created Adonai, and created God. So you get the image. So it seems that you get the point. It seems that the only subject of bara is actually God himself. Now the fact that we have put the predicate first and then the subject tells us that we might not have covered all the cases. So we could just also change here the order. So we allow now also for clauses that first have the subject and then are followed by the predicate. Let's search. Now there are three cases. El created him or created us, and you created them. This is also God, and he commanded, and they were created. So obviously also here it is only Elohim, El or Adonai, Yahweh, who are actually the subjects of the predicate. Now here we have three cases in the reverse order, where we had first the predicate and then the subject. We have 13 cases. You could also, without manually changing the order, just click on this search both directions. If you search both directions, it means that we find both cases where we have the predicate precede the subject and those cases where the subject actually precedes the predicate. So we should get 16 cases now. And here we have all the 16. So this is a simple syntax search. You get the idea. Try to first understand the structure of the syntactical analysis through the syntax tree, and then try to reproduce it in your construct window, and try to have a simple version of it first before you get more and more complex, so that you guarantee that you have a successful flow of constructing your query. Again, if you want to have much more sophisticated queries, they won't be executable here in Accordance Bible software. By the way, also not in Logos. You would have to go to open source tools, as they are made available by the Free University of Amsterdam and the Dutch Royal Society of Humanities and the Sciences. The website to go would be Shibang Ancient Data. This is the website, and here you can perform very complex queries that make you find exactly what you want. I have a couple of YouTube tutorials on how to use Shibang on my YouTube channel, so check them out as well. I hope that tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, put them into the comments. Looking forward to see you the next time. Bye.